This conference will now be recorded.
All right, evening, gentlemen, and special thanks to Luis for setting us up again to do this and have fun together and talk some trash and Madden. This is our post-draft deadline and Christmas special, basically. Joined once again with that dude to give his commentary and perspective. So, going to
Glad I
hop
could be
into
here.
it.
Glad I could be here.
Format, we're going to go with what I think is the team's best move so far this season, worst move / what were they thinking, and what did this team ask Santa for this year. So to begin with, we'll go over to the AFC East. The Bills. I think their best move so far was drafting cornerback Seawright. He's already got 4 picks. And a close second, which I've got to mention, honorable mention, is adding Hopkins because he's such a difference maker. Defenses can't sit on Diggs anymore. And there's going to be balance actually in this passing game, unlike last year, where if you attack Diggs, you had a pretty good handle on being able to hang with that passing game. Their worst move / what were they thinking? I don't really have one for the Bills, but if I had to pick something, I'd say if anytime they throw the ball 20 times or more with Allen, because you look at that, it's pretty much a common. You hit that mark, they're probably losing that game. As for what they asked Santa for, I'm going to say for tight end Dawson Knox to become a bigger weapon on the offense. He's got good speed, really good run after the catch skills, and he really should have a good amount of space to operate with Hopkins and Diggs out there, plus the running game you always have to respect. Also, some note, snow games. Snow games are their friend. They're in Buffalo. It's going to F up the opponent's ability to see. So, Dadju, what you got any comments on Buffalo?
Really, TG knows what he's doing over there. So he's gonna put together a good team, a quality team, and also, his skill set, man, with Hopkins and Diggs is gonna be unreal, especially if Allen can make the throws. So look for TG to make some noise as usual.
Definitely a contender, no doubt, no doubt. Next up is the Dolphins. I think their best move this year was signing TJ Green in free agency. His 3 picks versus the Packers are a big reason they won that game in Week 5. The worst move, I got to question the trade for Sonny Michel. I mean, running back depth is a good thing, and Michel's a good ball carrier. But if you're going to spend that 3rd round pick, I'd probably try to fill some other hole this roster has. But as for what they asked Santa for, stay healthy and capitalize on what's a very manageable back half of the schedule that really gives them a good chance to be a playoff team this year, I think.
Yeah, I agree. But if Phil makes a move for a running back, he knows something everybody else don't do. So it's just, I guess it's more or less the passing aspect with him instead of Burrito. So that's what we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have to watch out for in these close games.
Yeah, Burrito's always a threat, too, for sure. No doubt.
Hi, Mom, I'm on TV.
Rounding out the East, you have the Patriots. The best move so far, I'm saying it's easily the trade they made with the football team and significantly getting Sweat. Because, he may not be getting all the sacks in the world, but he's hit 5 through the first 7 games, and he's that type of player you got to worry about every snap. So just the
Yeah,
fact that he's out there affects how you have to play him because he can run stuff down on the backside, and you just got to worry about him.
yeah.
Their worst move, probably anytime they get away from the running game. You go back to their game in Week 4 against the Bills, Week 5 in the Titans. You saw they got away from the running game a little early in both, and both times Haskins ended up throwing 3 picks. This is the case. Even if they're behind, they really can't abandon the running game because they're just a totally different team when they stop running the ball. As far as what they asked for, kind of a weird thing. They're asking for more passing touchdowns, but fewer pass attempts. And I think this is going to be because you got to give Camaro the ball more, and that's going to give these speedy wide receivers the chance to, hit some play action passes and get open for more big plays. So less volume, but more quality. Really, it's kind of is their wish for Santa.
I'd have to say his worst move is not getting Waddell in the draft. So other than that, I mean, it is what it is after that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. For the AFC North, Bengals making moves into really being a playoff team last year. After last year, they sprung some upsets, but were on the outside looking in. I think their best move was taking Vernon in the first round, the wide receiver. He's been a significant
Hmm.
part of the offense. He's second in receiving yards and TDs. Plus, his yards per reception is 27.4, which is pretty incredible regardless of the receiver. Their worst move, I think you got to look at pretty much any move from their defensive coordinator, as they give up lots and lots of yards, which really makes you wonder how much better might they be if their defense played better, because they don't really stop anybody. So what they asked Anna for: pass defense, run defense, or maybe a pass rusher. At basically anything that helps them give up fewer yards.
Yeah, if FB plays his games, he's always a threat. That's what you have to watch out for more than anything. So if he's active, he's gonna make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, top 10 defense and everything, but top 10 offense in all ways, but nothing on the defense is better than 25th overall. So,
Yep.
all right, moving right along. Browns, obviously leading the division. Their best move, I got to go back to their first round pick, linebacker Moala, or however you say his name. He leads them in tackles and interceptions, and just that great combination of size, enough speed, and his hands are phenomenal for the position. Pretty much tailor made for what Mike wants to do with that defense. As far as the worst move, their run defense right now. They're 25th in yards given up, which is really surprising for him and for most playoff teams in general. You got to think that could really hurt them coming playoff time, because that's one thing virtually all the contenders have in common. I mean, they all run the ball really well. As far as what they asked Santa for, I think they needed wide receiver Boykin to become the threat he was again last year. He was a really good number 2, with his size and speed. I know he's been hurt part of the season, but he really hasn't made much of an impact even when he's been in there this year so far.
Mike, don't change nothing about your team. What Chris saying is a load of trash. So don't listen to him. Keep doing what you're doing, and that's all to it, man.
Okay. Moving on, the Steelers, below 500 right now. Their best move, I still think they're making the right play, investing in quarterback Tanner Morgan. They got him in the 3rd round last year. When he was taken, he was 68 overall. He's all the way up to 77 right now. And a further proof of this growth, he's now got a positive touchdown to interception ratio through the first half, which is a big improvement over last year. Worst move, what are they thinking? I think this is a team that, like many others, when they don't run the ball enough. They got a good shifty running back in McFarland. Connor's a nice sledgehammer, but I just don't think they're getting the ball nearly enough to balance out that offense. So what they're asking Santa for, I'm going to say offensive chemistry. They've got quality at the skill positions. Morgan at quarterback. The offensive line isn't bad, but they're outside of the top 20 in points scored, and they've just got too much talent not to score more points than they have so far.
Yeah, the Steelers is always a threat too. Just depends on how he can get off, and he has Claypool, who's been balling out, and Juju. So
Mm-hmm. He tore
he's
me up
with me
today.
hard.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that, man. So like I said, if he plays consistently like he does, he was always gonna be a problem.
Yep. All right. Jumping on to the AFC South. Start with the Colts. Their best move so far, I still love the drafting in the first round, a strong safety Mack. He's he's truly a difference maker. He's made some good plays when he's had a chance, and he's been a good part of a defense that's no lower than 4th anywhere in points and yards given up. The worst move, what were they thinking? I don't think the trade for Kittle and Newman really is looking to be good. On paper, I'd say the value even favored them, but they really haven't made a positive impact. Kittle hasn't seen the end zone yet, and Newman really has not been an upgrade over Jameis and has thrown a bunch of picks. What they asked Santa for is for Newman and Kittle to have some chemistry. They've connected for passes, but no touchdowns between them, and they're only putting up 17 points a game, which is good for 29th out of 32nd, and that's not going to win you many games in a division like the South. You there, man? Is he there? Am I there?
He's currently having technical difficulties unmuting his mic. So your co-host will be gone for a few minutes as he tries to figure this out. Sorry, people.
Okay. So be it.
Yeah, he
All right.
actually the mic.
All right. Well, I'll move on, and he can chime back in when he can. So after that, the Jaguars, trash, obviously. Lucky to win every game they play. Their best move so far, signing tight end Goddard, or however you say his name. He's emerged as a legitimate third option on the offense. He's second in receptions, yards, and receiving TDs. Just again, the guy you got to worry about, not to mention the running game and Chark. Worst move, if I had to pick something, probably the fact that Fields threw an interception in Week 5 versus the Broncos. Beyond that, I mean, we're splitting hairs. They've won each game, and most haven't been close. So what do they ask Santa for? I'd say to be healthy for the playoffs. As the only way I see them not being the favorite is that they lose Fields and/or Chark, as that could potentially upset their chemistry. But beyond that, I mean, it's no cakewalk, but they've definitely got to be the favorite going the rest of the way. Next, Titans. Best move so far, it's got to be the trade for Russell Wilson. Talent-wise, you can argue he's no worse than the third best QB out there, and his arm talent compared to what they had before, it's just galaxies different. Worst move, I'd probably say running the ball as often as they do with Wilson. He's a talented scrambler, so you understand you got to use him some, but he's also put the ball on the ground a lot, and you realize if he gets hurt, the job's going to fall to 45-year-old Tom Brady. Brady's got a solid arm, but absolutely no mobility, and you got to think that really potentially cripple what the Titans like to do on offense. As for what they asked Santa for, they asked Santa for more for their pass rush. In their first 9 games, they've only got 9 sacks, and they're going to need more than that to win some games in the postseason. You back with me, dude?
I'm here with you. What he can ask
Awesome.
for Christmas is better internet since he disconnected our first game. Slack sucker.
That's a fair point.
Oh, and for the
I
Colts,
figured
I'll tell
that
you
was
this,
like
man.
a little league thing where you're down by 10 runs and you only play 5 innings or so.
31-0. All of a sudden, hey, my internet goes out. You get the fuck out of my face. Excuse my language though. But let's just say this, man, and I'll be real. The Colts, he plays a great ball possession type game. So you got to make every possession count. So that's what you have to do for him. He might score 17, but you might not score but 20 to 24 points. And
That's true.
And what you said about the Jags, bro, is we're still young. We're still trying to grow. So don't worry about it. You know, we're still learning this team through the in and outs, and we just hope we can just be a good team in the end, you know?
All right. What about the Titans? You already the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, the Titans are trash. He's trash. Chris is who he is. He's the AFC West champs. That's all he wants to be is the AFC West champs, so we'll let him be the AFC West champs.
Well, when you got to create your own trophies, that's cool.
Hey, Chris, you suck, by the way. Just know that.
AFC West time. We'll start off with the Broncos. Their best move so far, I still like the free agent signing of a wide receiver, Gallup. He's not going to lead the league in anything, but he's been a solid part of what's arguably still one of the best wide receiver cores out there. Just as talent, it is anyone going 3 or 4 deep. Worst move, what were they thinking? Whoever made the decision in the front office to let Drew Lock go for the interception single season record. He's only 6 away from tying the record set in 1962 by George Blanda. So he's already got 36. 42 is the record. It's within reach. So what do they ask Santa for? The inevitable top 5 pick they're going to have. They need a big-time pass rusher or a stud QB. All right, move on. Chargers, me. Best move so far. I have to say our 3rd-round pick of middle linebacker Grove. He's really raw, but got good size and speed. Among the team leaders in tackles, and we think we found our future in the middle of the defense for us. Our best, worst move.
No, Will. Oh, here we go.
What? Our best, worst move. I'd have to say it's a case of being balanced at the right times. I think we were not aggressive enough in one win, and we were too aggressive. I mean, not aggressive enough in one loss versus the Titans, and we were too aggressive versus the Seahawks in the other. And just highlights that if we don't stay in our center there, then things are going to go bad for us, and people are going to beat us. So that's for what we asked Santa for. Hopefully, no more significant injuries. Starting wide receiver Williams, our top running back Eckler, rookie defensive tackle Sanders, all starters have all missed at least 5 weeks at one point or another. So hopefully we can stay healthy the rest of the way. Then the Chiefs. Their best move so far, probably the re-signing of Tyreek Hill. No one's faster, or more shifty, and it would seem he's going to be a Chief through the duration of this franchise. The worst move, probably Mahomes just hasn't been very careful with the ball. In each of their losses this year, he's had at least one pick and one fumble. And, I mean, frankly, with the talent on this team and how explosive they are, if they don't turn it over, they're going to be in every single game they're in. They have just that much firepower. What do they ask Santa for? For their defense to play better against the run. They're sitting at 21st in yards given up on the ground, and it's much like the Browns, kind of surprising for a team with that much talent who you definitely consider, is going to be in the postseason.
You consider the Chiefs to be in the postseason?
Postseason?
Yes.
Yeah, I was saying the Chiefs, like the Browns, I consider that they're teams that are going to be in the postseason.
But why would you consider the Chiefs a postseason team, though? They just got spanked by the Titans.
Still think they're going to get a wild card spot because that makes them 6-3. Yeah, I still think they're on path.
So it's hopefully Laddie won't sneak in, because if he does, it's a first round playoff exit after he pissed away my Super Bowl prediction last year. So thanks a lot, Laddie.
I got to be careful what I say about him because he's still the actual division champ 2 years running. Hopefully I can knock him off this year, but he still holds that crown.
You heard that, Laddie? Actual. That means you ain't nothing, bro. Remember that. I'll say it if you don't want to, Chris. I'll say it.
Wow. Any comments on the Broncos or Chargers?
The Broncos, he plays on the same internet as Chris, so I can't say much about that. But hopefully, John, to get better. And the Chargers, I always expect you to be there in the end. So it's just all about how you play, and if you get frustrated, what you do when you get frustrated. So the whole point is to get you frustrated and then see what you do once you get flustered. So if you stay under control, you'll be all right. But once you get flustered, it's a ball game, bro.
Yeah, I start giving away turnovers like they're going out of style at that point. That is true. All right. Well, that wraps the AFC. Just in summation there, right now it's Jags and the Bills, I think, and everyone else getting to the playoffs is probably a notch below them, but we'll see what will happen. But right now, I'd have to say it's probably a Bills versus the Jags conference championship game, most likely.
I'll take the Browns and Bills. Those are my two picks. The Jags, I just don't see it because Verdell is hurt, and I don't know if he'll stay healthy.
Isn't he back yet, or is he got out for another couple more weeks?
He should be back for when I play Mike in a week or two.
Okay, that would be a key loss for sure.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Moving on to the NFC. We'll go with the East first. Cowboys has kind of an incomplete grade there because so I'm gonna have to give them, since he really hasn't been here with us to play, the best move so far has been doing all he can to get us our mail relatively on time. Worst move, their draft. They took linebacker Sweeney 11th overall. He's basically a defensive end without much pass rushing ability playing at linebacker. So that kind of hurts to have an early first round pick and not get much from it. As far as what this team is asking for Santa, probably federal funding for the Postal Service so that they can stay on top of stuff and not fall behind more. And they could really use a difference maker on either defensive line or secondary in the next draft.
Yeah, I'll just say, Hack, we appreciate you for getting this league up and running. because the admin junior and junior, senior, whatever you want to be called, they ain't worth 2 cents at times, bro. So we just want to say we appreciate you, Heck.
For sure, most of us aren't nearly mature enough to keep something like this running. Speaking for myself, at least. Next, Giants. Best move so far. I'm going to go back to the free agent signing of J.J. Watt. He may only be third on the team in sacks, but you add him there with what Williams and with what Sweat have done getting to the quarterback, that just makes it a front seven that it's just a headache to deal with. They're very, very physical and quite quick as well. Worst move, what were they thinking? I hate how they've buried their first-round pick cornerback Wayne on the depth chart. Their pass defense has been middle of the road, only 6 picks through the first 8 games. It's past time for this youngster to see some reps. He's got great change of direction and speed. He needs to be out there getting better. As for what this team asked Santa for, the defense needs to force turnovers. Through 9 games, they forced 9 turnovers. That's not going to be enough if you want to do better than a wild card round exit in the postseason. Wrapping up the division, football team, 6-2 at that midway point. Best move so far, I think all the combination of additions and subtractions to the defense have all played out beautifully. More moves to list than is practical with as big as some of the trades were, but the result is they're getting all the quarterback sacks and they lead the league in the fewest yards and points given up. Their worst move, another case where I kind of got to split hairs here, but it's probably even like teams that are struggling not running it more. The only games Hurts has picks in are the only games they've lost. So truly, the more they run the ball, the better they are. And what did the team ask Santa for? For Hurts to not throw the ball downfield. If the receiver isn't wide open, his arm is a bit of a liability, being rated only 85. And that, I mean, if you got to find a weakness on this team, it's probably that.
Yeah, I agree, man. Brent's put together a hell of a squad up there in Washington, man. And like you said, addition by subtraction has been great to watch. And he's did it. He's did it with less and he's did it with more. And then his defense is just straight. And going back to the Giants, what was he thinking? Moving Watt. Why would he move?
What was his thinking? What was Barry? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Moving Watt from what? Defensive tackle. Cheater. That's all I'm going to say. You a cheater. You've always been one. You always will be one, Kevin. You're a cheater.
Strong words. All right. Moving on to the NFC North. The Bears. Kind of an incomplete grade as well, as unfortunately he hasn't been with us for much of the season, but he did play again today. So he's got his internet back online, so that's probably going to be their best move. Because even though it's on the next season, this is going to be a dangerous team to face the rest of the way. He just has a tendency to kind of, just bring the game to you, just kind of make you fight in a phone booth, as it were. It makes it hard to take advantage of where you might have better skill players than he does. Worst move, I can't be too critical as they're just getting back to play, but I really think the running game could have benefited from an upgrade, maybe a power back from last season. They're just not super physical with Patterson and Cohen back there. I mean, they're good speed, good shifty guys, good receivers, but if they've got a short yardage situation, they don't really have a great answer for that. As far as what did the Bears ask Santa for? A stable internet connection and a stud defensive back in the upcoming offseason. Either a cornerback or free safety would be great.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it better, man. Like, he almost made the play. No, he made the playoffs last year,
He did.
man. So, if he has internet and he's actually on, man, he makes the playoffs every year in the NFC. So, Just hope you get things right, Chicago.
You could argue no one has done more with less, especially at quarterback. Tyreek Jackson doesn't blow you away with any of his raw stats, but he shows how important a good, strong quarterback arm is. As that guy, he's only rated 70 overall. With that 96 arm, he still keeps a positive touchdown interception ratio.
Oh, yeah.
All right, next we got the Packers. Best move, going back to old man Aaron Rodgers for one last ride. He may be 38, but he's solidified his claim to be the starting quarterback for at least this season. 72+ % completion percentage, 19-7 touchdown to interception ratio. He's not going to win MVP, but those are strong numbers. The worst move, I don't think it's necessarily starting Love at quarterback to begin this season, but starting him after week 2. I think the first 2 games he showed he wasn't up to it, but he started 3 more games, and his struggles versus the Falcons in week 2, I think, were very telling to show he wasn't quite ready for prime time yet. As far what did the Packers ask Santa for? Health and endurance for running back Aaron Jones. He's been a manimal when he's been out there. The Packers have a top 5 rushing attack. He's just a threat to either bludgeon you up the middle or break it to the outside. He's just been a great running back.
I would have to say with Green Bay is patience. He just got to be patient with Love. He should have did it early, took the lumps. That way he can get through the season and actually get a Dev upgrade. But hey, he went back to his comfort level. But bro, just be patient going forward.
It's a valid point. Vikings, best move so far. I still like the drafting of quarterback Bass. He hasn't had the best start to his career, but he's got fantastic raw talent that you don't just see every day. The worst move, what they were thinking, far too many pass attempts for the rookie quarterback and not enough carries for running backs Cook. And I like Matson also they've got in the backfield. The rookie's going to need some time, and the offense needs more Cook. As of right now, they've got almost 100 more passing attempts than rushing attempts. And even if you're playing from behind, that's not a sustainable ratio if they're going to win games. They got to be run heavy and give the youngster a chance to get better. So as far as what they asked Santa for, they need second and third short yardage situation. Third and longs are going to be their death until Bass develops more.
Well, Gary is Gary. And I'm just going to say that. Gary wants to throw the ball. Gary's not going to run the ball. Gary. If you're listening, Gary, run the damn ball. That's it. You got an X factor running back. Run the damn ball. 30, 40, 50 times. If he got to be Barkley Jr., throw him the ball 50 times. Run the ball 60 times. Damn it, just get a ball to my man.
I concur. Hopping on to the NFC South, Buccaneers. Best move. What?
That's the trash division.
Ooh, ouch. Buccaneers, though. Best move so far, I think their free agent signing of Sam Darnold. Yeah. Not an MVP contender by any means, but he's got a positive touchdown to interception ratio, and he's led them to having a top 10 offense. Worst move, pretty much all of their pass coverage decisions. No one's given up more yards in the air or overall, which is confusing because this roster has talent. You got Vita Vea, who's been sacking people at the defensive line. You got White, a fantastic linebacker. In the secondary, you got Adams. So, I mean, it's got to be the play calling. It's got to be the problem because the talent is definitely there. As far as what this team has Santa for, a brand new defensive playbook. It is time to completely throw away and burn. It says they have a 3-4 under scheme. Anything else. Try anything else because what they have right now is garbage and is not good.
His defensive tackle was probably the best I've seen in this game. I've watched him the past 2 games, and he's blowing stuff up I've never seen before. So that Vita dude is amazing. And whatever it takes to get him in Jacksonville, just let me know, homie, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, that's just what we all need. Oh, boy. Next, the Falcons. Best move so far, I think the addition of Herbert at quarterback. He's got a really great strong arm to get, that been able to maximize Waddle and Jones. And this offense is top 10 in yards and points, largely because of it. Worst move, I don't have anything glaring to point out there, but I mean, the pass defense obviously needs some help. They are getting sacks and picks, but they're also giving up a lot of yards, 26 most in the league. So the big plays are happening, but they're happening for both the offense and the defense. As far as what they're asking Santa for, it's got to be fewer turnovers. The offense has been good overall, but the 17 picks is still a lot. And, I mean, just that ratio is going to have a very short stay in the postseason, even if they win the division.
I agree. It's the Falcons we're talking about. Everybody in this league that's a Georgia person know how bad the Falcons can be. So we expect Falcons from the Falcons usually, but hey, we know how
the Saints and our favorite coach Hayes. Best move so far. I really think they had a good draft. I like the drafting of both DT Byram and running back Babineau.
Hmm.
I think they've been solid moves for the present and the future, as they've both been solid players their rookie season. You've got Byron's been getting sacks. Babineau's been a solid running back for them. Their worst move, it might be sticking with Pickett at quarterback. He's developed a good bit, but even with his development to where he is now, he's still no better than 50th as far as talent goes, position wise, and that's pretty rough. And hence that he's got a touchdown interception ratio of 11-31 right now. As far as what they asked Santa for, they need ball security. It's either going to be from better play from Pickett or someone else to take the job. Because if your starting quarterback has handed out 35 turnovers between interceptions and fumbles, you're just not going to make the playoffs. That's just not going to happen. No comments on Hayes? Did I lose him again? Oh, no, there you are.
Yeah, hey, just stay the course, bro. Pickett is the way to go. Don't listen to Pickett. Oh,
Oh,
can you hear me?
okay. I can hear you.
Never mind. Just go ahead.
All right. NFC
Okay.
West.
Now I was gonna say,
I'm sorry?
just go.
Okay. NFC West, the 49ers. Best move so far, I think it's no question, quarterback Ridley. Even though this offense is last in passing yards, he already has developed by 4 points. And his talent is that combination of arm power and speed. I mean, only other quarterbacks you have it are Kyle Allen and Lamar Jackson, like I mentioned last time. He's a rare gem. Worst move, what they were thinking? I hate the trading away of Kittle. They got some decent value in return, but a rookie quarterback having an absolute stud like Kittle, who's really open even when he's covered, I have a hard time understanding how you let that go. And I know even if it doesn't seem to fit with the way you play, you got a stud like that, you almost kind of going to have to change to accommodate a talent like that, I would think. As far as what they asked Santa for, they need a true number one receiving option. I know they're a run-heavy team. They've got some speed, but there's no answer on third downs right now. And when you're playing defense against them, there's nobody you really got to pay attention to in the passing game, and allows you to really cheat towards the run virtually every play.
Yep. Just ride King Henry, man. That's all you have to do. Trust King Henry, and after that, don't worry about nothing else.
That will get you some wins for sure. Cardinals, best move so far. I like
Cheater.
the say what?
Cheater.
Cheater? Oh, another one. I like the drafting a rookie defensive tackle Ash. I think he's really solidified the defensive front and his raw build. I think he's going to be the next guy that breaks out, much like Vita Vea and Grady Jarrett have, as an interior pass rushing force. So I'd look for him to be one of those guys who gets like 20 sacks probably next season. Worst move, what were they thinking? It's another trade I just hate because it gives away a number one receiving option. They got rid of Hopkins, and they got some value in Wallace and Espenza. I mean, Wallace is tied for the team lead in 5 picks, and Espenza's giving him 4 sacks, which is nice, but they don't really, they gave up a legitimate number one, and I think that is going to hurt them come postseason. So, as far as what they asked Santa for, they got to ask Santa and Jesus and pray that wide receiver Kirk will step up and really become a true number one and lessen that blow of Hopkins being gone.
Yeah. Jay must know what he's doing when it comes to cap space, because that had to be a cap casualty contract. But in the end, Jay knows what he's doing, even though he is a cheater. But I'm going to let that ride, cheater. You know what I'm talking about, Jay, you cheater.
I think that might have been the time you used that word the most. More
Cheater.
than the Giants. Oh, yeah. Yep. Wrapping it up with Seahawks. Best move so far, I guess, has got to be trading for his boy, Texas Longhorn, Sam Ehlinger. He's got all the passing yards, and amazingly, seemingly, the more seemingly more talented rookie, Ferguson, has been buried on the bench because of it. This also means their worst move might actually be taking quarterback Ferguson in the first round, as he appears to he's just going to sit on the bench this season. But this could totally turn around this offseason if he chooses to turn around and sell him, because this Ferguson has the ability to be a number one somewhere. So he might have a great chip in the trading market. As far as what they asked Santa for, they just need pass protection. Because, I mean, when you got Metcalf, Evans, and Gronk running routes, and Ellinger leading the league in passing, that's really all he needs. If you can't get to the quarterback, he's going to find the open guy and just throw bombs on you.
Yeah, Pino does Pino things, and I respect him because he throws the ball 60 times and he'll complete 54 of them. So I can't say much about his game plan except if he actually tried to run the ball 15 times a game, it'd be a hell of an offense he has. So just letting you know, Pino, run the ball sometime, bro. You can do it.
Yeah, that seems to be advice for most of the teams out there, for sure. But as far as coming out of the East, I still got to like football team, obviously. That
Yep.
defense is just fantastic. Even with Hurts having that rather weak arm, I still got to believe you're going to see them in the conference championship game. And from there, I'm hesitant to pick the Packers again because they let me down last time. But I give a slight edge to the Packers, but my wild card right behind them is going to be the Seahawks because I think that offense is just that explosive that they're out there. They're liable of winning games 50-40 out there. And I just look around the rest of that conference and I see a lot of teams with problems on offense. And I think the Seahawks, they're going to be able to score on anybody.
Yeah, I got a football team, and I'll take the Seahawks in the conference ship. That's gonna be a good game to see, how Pino adjusts his game in, game out, especially against that pass and his pass rush. So it'll be fun to watch, man. But the Falcons and what's the team from Green Bay? He always does his thing too. So it all depends on seedings of how they finish out, and that will really determine who's gonna be where.
Yeah, I'm always excited to see a potential, arguably best defense versus best passing offense matchup. See what wins out.
I agree.
Yep. All right, that's about all I have. I'll hold off any Super Bowl predictions till our playoff preview, which we'll get that done somehow right when we get closer to that time. But that's all I got for tonight. You got anything else to add, sir?
I don't, man. I appreciate you for having me tonight, man. And again, we know who you cheaters are, and you cheaters are going to cheat. We're going to make sure we're going to snap y'all into place, cheaters. Chris, you a cheater too. And I'm talking about Tennessee Chris, cheating behind.
I'm not winning enough to be called a cheater these days. I've yet to win a playoff game in this version.
Hey, it's still early, man. It's only year 2.
It is still early.
Year 3. It's only year 3.
But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to join tonight. Big thanks to Pino for setting this up and making this all possible for us to look somewhat professional.
Appreciate you,
And
Pino.
yeah, you guys have a great night. And I think that'll be it for now. You there, Luke?
Hey, good job, Chris. Both Chris's.
Hey.
You guys did well, man.
That went pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with his internet there for a minute. It was I think it was a lot of the background noise it was having trouble picking him up.
Yeah, it was pretty good. What do we got to do to get this